Hello again, my little yarnivores and spiderettes. Fiber Spider back again with another tutorial just for you. And today I am going to show you how to make fingerless gloves utilizing the waffle stitch. It's very, very simple. It's got a lovely texture. And with the base chain multiple, you can make them whatever size you want to. They are great for a last minute gift. They are especially great if you get chilly inside and you just need a little extra something to keep your little hands warm and still be able to do things, because you're free access with your fingers. All right, so for this particular project, I used a size, there we go, a size H 5mm hook, and this yarn I used, it was Lion Brand's Pound of Love in the colorway of Oxford Gray. You can, of course, use whatever works best for you. As far as the yarn weight, it's a weight of 4, so any weight of 4 yarn is just fine. Also, as far as the hook size, I would say because everybody's hand size is, of course, different, you may need to play around with the hook size, the yarn weight, etc., etc. I mean, I've got medium-sized hands. They aren't teeny tiny, and they are certainly not very large, but, you can, of course, play around with the stitch count to get a nice size. And because they work up so fast, hey, go crazy, make tons of them. Yeah. All right, so with that being said, let's get started. All right, so for your base chain, you are going to need a multiple of 3 for your chains. Now, like I said, you can make this as big or as small as you want to. Me, I found that 24 chains worked out just fine for me. So after getting your multiple of 3 chains all set and ready, we're going to connect this into a ring with a slip stitch. Just be sure that you don't inadvertently twist your base chain, otherwise you're going to end up with a Mobius, and that does not work. So being very careful not to twist your chain. Going to go into that first stitch with a slip stitch. Now, you could go underneath both loops of the V. Personally, I really don't think that it's all that necessary. I'm just going to go underneath the back loop of the V and slip stitch like so. And then, first round, very, very easy. Chain up 2 and double crochet into each stitch, each chain all the way around. And in my case, it's going to be 24 stitches in total. However, if you feel that you need, a couple more, couple less, just alter your base chain. Now, as I said, I'm using a worsted weight of 4 yarn and a size H hook. If you are using a finer weight of yarn, like a 3 or a 2, well, use a corresponding hook size for that yarn, and invariably you will need more chains than if you are using a thicker yarn. Experiment, play around. Do not let what I say constrict your creativity. And so, yeah, just doing your double crochets all the way around, and then we are going to join up with a slip stitch. It's really that easy from the get-go. And the pattern itself is actually really, really quite simple, because it is ultimately just a 2-round repeat. But before we get into the pattern, we're going to start with a cuff. And that too is customizable, because some people, they like a short cuff. Some people, they like it a little bit longer so that it can be tucked underneath a shirt sleeve or a coat sleeve, totally up to you. So after your first round is done, we will get into the ribbing for the cuff. And we are almost done with round 1. Goes pretty darn quick in the grand scheme of things. But it would help if I caught all of my plies. There we go. And I think it's just one more. Also get the tail out of the way. Okie dokie. Now, just to be sure that I have the proper count, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24. Perfect. I always like to double check and then into the second chain, because we chained 2, slip stitch into the top of that first double crochet that we made. And there you go. That is round 1. All right, so round 2, I'm going to start by doing some ribbing. Now, you could, chain up a bunch. However, I feel that to make a cleaner, join, instead of doing a chaining up, we're just going to do a front post double crochet around this double crochet right off the bat, sort of scooting up the yarn just a little bit, be easy on the tension, and do a front post double crochet and sort of pull your loops up just a little bit. And front post double crochet. Ultimately, I think it makes it a little bit neater. So we've got a front post, and then we go in and do a back post. Around that next stitch, and then a front post. And back post. Now, it was 24, so that's divisible by 3, but it's also an even number. However, if you are doing a multiple of 3 that is not also divisible by 2, you are going to end up with a ribbing that is not strictly, A, B, A, B, A, B. It will be like A, B, B, at some point. And that is okay because it's just the cuff, and I don't really think anybody's going to, be looking at your fingerless glove cuffs that closely. It's okay. So I would not stress it too terribly much. So for your first round, just continue on in this fashion by doing a front post, back post, front post, back post all the way around, and then going to slip stitch into the top of that first front post double crochet that we did. So I'm going to go all the way around, and I will meet back up with you when I'm going to do the slip stitch. Alrighty. Okay, so I'm almost done with round 2. I just have a couple more to go. I just need to do a front post and a back post, and then slip stitch to join. Okay. Can be a little bit tricky to see. Now you can see this is where we had our back post, so this would be our front post. That one right there. So slip stitch. Excuse me. All right, so that is the end of round 2. Now, however many rounds you want for the cuff, I did 4 rounds of ribbing. So again, just sort of pulling up your yarn a little bit, yarning over, and then front post around the front post, and then back post around the back post, front post around the front post, and back post around the back post. And then when you reach the beginning of the round again, just slip stitch into that first front post double crochet. And so me personally, yeah, I did 4 rounds of ribbing. So that would be 5 rounds in total because the first round was just double crochets, then 4 rounds of the ribbing would be 5 rounds total. However, like I said, you can make your cuff as big or as small and narrow as you want, totally up to you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the rest of my ribbing off camera. And after I'm done with my 4 rounds of ribbing, I will meet back up with you to show you how we're going to then start doing the waffle stitch. It's really, really easy. And then after that, get you started with that, I'm going to show you how to do the thumb opening and continue on. It's really simple. All right, so you know what? I'm almost to the end of my 3rd round. So I'm just going to do it on camera. Why not? I'm almost there. But yeah, the next 2 rounds I'm going to do off camera. That's okay. Okay, and you can see that we're near the beginning because we have our little tail down there. So I just need to do this one back post. There we go. And slip stitch into the top of this first front post. And there you go. All right, so I'm going to do another 2 more rounds and I will meet back up with you. So keep stitching. I'll see you in a bit. All right, so I did my 4 rounds of the ribbing, so I'm on round 6 right now. And so after the ribbing is done, going to again sort of pull up a little bit, and this is how we're going to continue doing the rest of the project actually. Sort of, pull up a little bit, and do a front post double crochet around the front post, like so. Now, for the waffle stitch, it's a front post double crochet followed by 2 regular double crochets. And so into the top of that back post, just do a regular double crochet, and then 1 into the top of this front post. So front post, regular, regular, then another front post. So this back post is going to become a front post. And then 2 regular doubles. Just do a double crochet into the top of the stitch, regardless of whether it's a front or a back post, and then another front post, and then 2 regular doubles, and then a front post. So we're sort of disregarding the ribbing that we have done. Okay, so we did the front post and then 2 regulars. And then a front post. And then 2 regulars. And a front post. And 2 regular doubles. Front post. 2 regular doubles. Front post. And 2 regular doubles. And that is the end of round 6. I just need to slip stitch into the top of my first front post double, like so, and there you go. Okay, round 7. This is where the waffling starts to happen, if you will. So start off by doing a front post around the front post, and then around those 2 regular doubles, back post. So back post around those 2, and then front post around the front post. For this particular stitch, you always front post around the front posts. It's the double crochets and then the back post double crochets. Those alternate depending upon what round you are on. So then I did my 2 back posts, so then front post, and then 2 back posts, and then a front post around that front post, and then 2 back posts around those regulars, and then a front post, and then 2 back posts, and then a front post, and 2 back posts, front post, 2 back posts. So it's pretty straightforward, quite frankly. Front post around the front post, and then 2 back posts. And then we're going to slip stitch join to our first front post. Okay. Slip stitch. And There we go. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to repeat rows 6 and 7 so that we have another segment of the waffling. Then we're going to do the thumb opening. All right, so let's get to it. Okay, so round 8 really is a repeat of row 6, but I'm going to do it for you anyway. So front post around the front post, and then into the next 2 stitches, double crochet, and then front post around the front post, and then into the next 2 back posts, just double crochet. If I can get all of my plies, it would help, wouldn't it? There we go. So 2 regular doubles, and then a front post around the front post, and then 2 regular doubles. And so do this all the way around, and then slip stitch into that first front post double once you get back to the beginning. Okay, round 9 is going to be essentially a repeat of round 7. Start by doing a front post around the front post, and then around those 2 doubles, back post around those 2. Now the only difference between round 9 and round 7 is how we end the round. And it's very important because this is going to be the start of the thumb opening, believe it or not. So, you got your front post, 2 back posts, front post, and then 2 back posts, just as we've been doing before, no big deal. But we're not going to quite finish the round in the same fashion as we had done previously. Now, if you want your gloves to be longer, by all means, go right ahead. I would say just get yourself up to a spot where you're working on one of these rounds with the back post double crochets, because the next round will be a lot easier, I imagine, if this is going to be the working round that you're doing when you want to get up to your thumb opening. And you will see what I mean in just a bit. I always say, by all means, if you can make something customizable, go for it, because not everybody has the same hand size. That I understand only too well. So if I can make something customizable, I always try to do so. And we are almost to the end of the round. Okay. Front post around that front post, and then 2 back posts. And at this point, ordinarily, we would slip stitch to the top of the first front post stitch. However, we are going to omit that little part, and we are going to continue on to round 10. Alrighty. Okay, so for round 10, at the end of round 9, we did not join with a slip stitch to the first front post. Round 10, we're going to go directly from where we left off, start by chaining up 2, and turn the work. Then into not this first stitch, but into the second stitch, this one right here, double crochet, and then around this next stitch here, back post, double crochet. Now the reason why we're doing this is because in the waffle stitch pattern, we need double crochets and front post double crochets typically, but we're working on it from the opposite side. So it's 2 double crochets and a back post as opposed to 2 double crochets and a front post. All right, so we did our front post, well, back post. All right, then 2 double crochets into the next 2 stitches. And then a back post. Around that back post. Then 2 double crochets. And a back post. Now I want to show you what we're doing from the other side, so perhaps it makes a little bit more sense. See? We had our 2 doubles, and then a front post, 2 doubles, and a front post, 2 doubles, and a front post. But because we're working on it from the opposite side, we have to compensate. So let us continue on. So we just did our back post, so 2 doubles, and then a back post, and then 2 doubles, and a back post. See, I figure when I was saying before that it would be easier to leave off on the rounds that we did is because it makes this particular round that much easier, a little less confusing. So 2 doubles, and back post, 2 doubles, and back post, 2 doubles, and it's a little bit fiddly, but back post. And there we go. And that, my dears, is the end of round 10. Alrighty. Okay, round 11. So I'm going to start off by doing a front post around this front post. And then the next 2 stitches are back post stitches, following suit with what we've done previously. It's just not connected at the beginning here. Not a big deal. So we've got our 2 back post stitches, and then a front post, and then 2 back posts, front post, 2 back posts, and so on and so forth for the rest of this round. However, at the end of this round, we are going to join up with our slip stitch again, because I think that the thumb opening will be sufficiently big. Now, I did try it actually with just one round, leaving a thumb opening. Honestly, I thought it was a little bit too tight. That's why we turned twice before joining. But utilizing the same logic, the same technique, you can experiment with a bigger or a smaller thumb opening. By all means, give it a whirl. And considering how quickly this project works up, it's not exactly time consuming. So have fun with that. Okay, and we are almost to the beginning again. Okay, and then 2 back posts, these last 2 stitches. Okay. There we are. And now going to connect into the top of this first front post. Now, yeah, it's a little bit tricky to see where to go into, so you can kind of fudge it just a little bit. As long as it's in there, thereabouts. And slip stitch, like so. And so when you put it on, you can see that you have some nice breathing and wiggle room for your thumb. Alrighty. So that is the end of round 11, and we don't have that much further to go, actually. Whoa, focus. Thank you. We don't really have that much further to go for the rest of our project, actually. The rest, I would say is pretty much smooth sailing, so let's get to it. Okay, round 12. Now, really, from here on in, it's just going to be repeating the previous rounds that we did, where it's either doubles or back post doubles separated by front post double crochet stitches. You can do as many more rounds as you want to. I did about 3 more rounds, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm going to start off by doing a front post around the front post, and then 2 regular doubles in the previous round's back posts. So double, double, then a front post, and then 2 doubles, and then a front post, and then 2 doubles, and get rid of your yarn tangles. There you go. So front post, 2 doubles, front post, 2 doubles, front post, 2 doubles, front post, 2 doubles, front post. I tell you, I really do like this stitch. Anything squishy, textured, absolutely love it. and 2 doubles. And then just going to slip stitch into the top of our first front post to finish up the round. Alrighty. Round 13. Okay. Front post around the front post. And then we need our back post double crochet stitches. So back post, and then a front post, and then back post, Now, as far as yarn choices, as far as the colorways, I think solids work very nicely. I think an ombre would look awesome. The only thing that I don't think would work very well is a quick change variegated yarn, where there's a very short, quick changing colorway, only because with textured stitches, you really want the texture to pop more. And personally, I find that a quick change variegated is distracting from the texture, and it becomes sort of like a sensory overload, if you will. Same thing, I think, sort of applies if you're doing certain lace stitches or complicated patterns where you really want the pattern to take the attention. Okay, and we are getting there. But otherwise, I would say have fun with your color choices. Okay, and we are almost back to square one. Okay, and then slip stitch into the top of that first front post. There we go. And really just one more round to go. Alrighty. Round 14, for me, last but not least. So again, front post around the front post stitch, and then regular doubles into the back post double crochet stitches. Now, what you can do, if you are of a mind to, is after you are done with this round, or at any other point that you want, you could add perhaps some ribbing to the top of your glove as well. Or you could do a couple of rounds of single crochet or half double crochet to sort of frame it, if you will. Maybe some single crochets, but through the back loop only for sort of a different texture. You know, there are 1,000,001 different things that you can do to really customize your piece. Personally, I am perfectly content and happy just finishing it off like this. But, you know, then again, like with a lot of my blanket projects, I don't add a border to them either. I think that sometimes there is an elegance in simplicity. So again, to each their own. March to the beat of your own bongos and have fun with it. And we are almost there. We are there. Okay, so slip stitch to the top of that front post and shaboom. Ta-da! There we go. And that is my second finished fingerless glove. So now I'm ready to rock. All right, so then of course at this point, if you feel that you're finished, you can always cut your yarn, pull out your loop, and sew in your ends. I would suggest, of course, turning this inside out and then sewing in your ends on the inside. That's really the only thing. But listen, I really hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. I always have fun teaching you guys new things and taking stitches that many of us are familiar with and creating something new. So listen, if you like this tutorial, please give a little thumbs up button down below because you know I appreciate your appreciation as always. And also, in the description box for this particular video down below, there will, of course, be timestamps and links to other projects as well. I also have quite a few other tutorials on fingerless gloves if those tickle your fancy. And also, of course, my Etsy store and my other YouTube channel, Fiber Spider Games, where I do video game playthrough and commentary. A lot of fun. Would love to see you there as well. So, you know what to do until next time, right? I want all of you to stay inspired, stay caffeinated, stay stitching, and please stay safe. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you, yes, you, in my next video. Bye for now, everybody, and have a great day.